Towering over the Giza plateau, rising above the scorching sand dunes under the blazing sun, the three legendary pyramids have stood strong for centuries, captivating the attention of the world. Among them, the Great Pyramid of Giza stands out, reaching a height of 146 meters and holding the title of the tallest man-made structure for over 4,400 years. Yet the grandeur of these pyramids seems to have concealed many unanswered questions. How long have they stood here? No one can provide a definitive answer. What was their purpose? The true reason remains a mystery. The message that our ancestors hoped to convey through these monumental structures is still an enigma. Nevertheless, by asking the right questions and reflecting thoughtfully, we can begin to uncover a glimpse of the secrets left behind by those who came before us. Together, we embark on a journey to explore what these pyramids truly have to say. For those who have traveled thousands of miles from all corners of the world to witness the Great Pyramid of Giza, they are sure to be awestruck by its mysterious and majestic beauty. People often take pictures, explore the surrounding ruins, and delight in hearing the stories of this ancient world wonder. However, if you are a local resident who has lived around this area and have seen the pyramids since birth, your perception of them will, over time, be very different. To you, the pyramids might become as ordinary as the skyscrapers in a city, nothing particularly special. It is only when, one day, a multitude of questions suddenly arises in your mind that you begin to sense something is not quite right about the pyramids. Why are they there? Why do they need to be so enormous? Why did people invest so much effort, even sacrifice so many lives to build the pyramids? What was the purpose? These questions have never truly been given the attention they deserve. The most common explanation you'll hear is that the pyramids were built to entomb the pharaohs, or as a symbol of their power over the people. This vague explanation is provided by archaeologists, Egyptologists, and surprisingly, people seem content with it. Countless individuals around the world dream of visiting this iconic Egyptian tourist destination. Ironically, the locals who live around the area no longer share this excitement. They no longer gaze at the Great Pyramid, which has become just another ordinary structure, nothing special to their daily lives. The questions about the pyramids remain unanswered, and as a result, no one seems to care about them anymore. In fact, the first question people often have about the pyramids likely arises from their sheer, almost excessive grandeur. The largest of the three pyramids is Khufu's. Standing at 146 meters tall, with each side spanning 20,000 square meters, it's hard to imagine how long the ancient Egyptians took to construct this monumental structure. The surfaces of the pyramid are covered with beautifully polished limestone, with each stone perfectly stacked so seamlessly that the joints are nearly invisible to the naked eye. Not even the thinnest razor blade could slip through the seams. The volume of the Great Pyramid is over 2.5 million cubic meters. To put this in perspective, that's enough to fill 2,500,000 water containers of 1,000 liters each, the kind you might see every day. This is why its mass reaches 6 million tons. The size is only part of the curiosity that people have about the pyramids. What truly sends shivers down one's spine is the incredible precision with which it was built. In 1949, a British pilot, while on a mission, captured a very unique aerial photograph. When people looked at this photo, they were surprised to discover that the Great Pyramid doesn't just have 4 sides, as commonly believed, but actually has 8. Due to the slightly concave structure of its 4 sides, at the time of the spring or autumn equinox, during sunrise or sunset, the sun casts its shadow in such a way that all 8 faces of the pyramid become visible. To create a structure with such a characteristic, the builders must have had advanced knowledge of the solar cycle, a level of expertise in mathematics. This single feature alone raises doubts about how the ancient Egyptians constructed the pyramid. Yet archaeologists continue to assert that the ancient Egyptians used nothing but human labor, sticks, and even lacked wheels or metal tools to erect such a world wonder. Keep in mind that there are over 2 million stone blocks in this structure, each weighing an average of more than 2 tons. Remarkably, in the king's chamber, the stone blocks weigh between 60 and 70 tons. All these stones were transported from the Aswan area, 800 kilometers away. How did they move these massive stones over 800 kilometers, lift them over 50 meters high, and precisely cut and fit them so perfectly? Engineers and architects continue to debate with Egyptologists, but to this day, no answer has been found. You may not know this, but if we go a little further, we reach the Temple Valley. The stones here weigh as much as 200 tons. Even with modern technology, moving hundreds of tons of stone at once is no easy feat. Moreover, it seems that there's no real need to use stones weighing 200 tons for construction. So, what is the reason behind this? To answer all these questions, let's take a look inside the pyramid. After many years of observation, researchers discovered that the ventilation shafts inside the pyramid were actually designed to align with the stars. The shafts inside the pyramid are aligned with various stars in the sky. This discovery was made by the renowned astronomer Virginia Trimble in 1964. Upon visiting Egypt, she began to suspect whether the shafts in the pyramid were pointed towards something specific. The pyramid itself is built along a very precise east-west, north-south axis, making it entirely plausible that the shafts lead to particular points. Virginia calculated that the southern shaft in the king's chamber aligns directly with the belt of the Orion constellation, while the northern shaft points straight towards the North Star. When this discovery was published, Egyptologists somewhat accepted it, though they were not fully convinced. They also did not investigate the southern shaft of the Queen's chamber to see where it leads. It wasn't until later that they discovered the shaft leads to the star Sirius. However, this alignment is not always accurate because the Earth has a phenomenon called axial precession. This is the slow, gradual shift of the Earth's axis due to the torque exerted by the Earth-Sun system, directly affecting the angle at which sunlight strikes the Earth's surface. hunter. He is the son of the sea god Poseidon and Uriel, the daughter of King Minos of Crete. Poseidon granted Orion the ability to walk on water. In Homer's Odyssey, Orion is described as a giant hunter, equipped with an indestructible bronze club. Returning to the Egyptian civilization, the ancient Egyptians believed that the gods came to Earth in human form to save and enlighten all of humanity. The ancient Egyptians were certain that Orion was linked to the creation of the world. Countless ancient texts, books, and illustrations have been found that consistently depict this belief. A place where heartfelt stories are shared. If you find this video inspiring and meaningful, don't forget to leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and spread it to others. When closely observing the coffins or ceilings in the tombs, the symbols of Orion and Sirius are always present. For the pharaohs, they firmly believed that they were the reincarnation of Horus, the son of the gods, Osiris and Isis. Over 400 generations of pharaohs ruled while maintaining this belief. What's surprising is that despite having more than 400 generations of rulers, archaeologists have only discovered the tombs of a few of them, the most famous being Tutankhamun. So where are the hundreds of other rulers? In fact, no one knows to this day. The three pyramids contain no inscriptions, drawings, or symbols either inside or outside. According to Egyptologists' speculation, the three pyramids of Giza were built during the 4th dynasty by 3 kings, Cheops, Khafra, and Menkaure. However, by the 5th dynasty, other kings constructed much smaller pyramids. Unlike their predecessors, the later pharaohs had many inscriptions written inside. These formed a valuable treasure of pyramid texts, one of the oldest ancient records humanity has discovered. When deciphering the inscriptions, most researchers find one common theme. They all point to the same region of the southern sky, specifically the Orion constellation. It seems the ancient people had a very different perspective of the world than we do today. They studied every field, from the universe, life, to the human body. They explored everything from the grand, such as galaxies and planets, to the microscopic, like molecules, atoms, and quarks. The pyramids are not the only extraordinary creation of the ancient Egyptians. It seems they discovered some method, perhaps through rituals, to guide humans into a different realm. In simpler terms, they might have used the pyramids as a means to elevate humans to a higher state of existence. The necessary condition is the pyramid, and the sufficient condition is the person inside the structure. If we strip away the outer layer of the pyramid, the walls inside would form rooms and tunnels leading toward the stars. When a person steps into the pyramid, it could be said that they are stepping into the very center of the sky, similar to a transit station. The Earth rotates on its axis and orbits around the sun, which gives us the seasons. Thanks to this movement, our rivers and lakes flow, nurturing a rich and diverse ecosystem, more vibrant than anywhere we have ever known. Astronomers have worked tirelessly to reach a significant conclusion. They argue that the universe is fundamentally governed by 2 constants, the gravitational constant and the speed of light constant. If either of these were to change, even minutely, the universe as we know it would cease to function. What does this mean? It means that the universe is designed to operate in this exact way. In some way, the ancient Egyptians seem to have harnessed the workings of the planets, creating the pyramids as a cosmic machine. They believed that it would help the human soul return to the stars, to reconnect could choose the more difficult path of shifting the stars. It might sound impossible, but in reality, it is entirely feasible. Do you remember the concept of axial precession we mentioned earlier? The stars in the sky do not remain stationary when observed from Earth. They move up and down in a cyclical pattern. So, Robert used astronomical simulation software to run a model to find the star alignment angles in the past. The result was that when looking back in time, the Orion constellation not only descended in the sky, but its alignment angle also changed. In 10,450 BC, the star's misalignment was exactly the same as the pyramids. Even more surprisingly, this alignment occurred exactly on the date of the spring equinox. On that day, not only did the 3 stars and 3 pyramids create a perfect alignment, but the Milky Way, as well as the reflection of the Nile River on the southern horizon, also aligned. On the day of the spring equinox, the sun rises due east. Another famous structure, the Great Sphinx, also faces due east, and strangely, it points toward the Leo constellation at that time. So what exactly did the ancient Egyptians want to convey through this astonishing coincidence? First, the pyramids didn't just use the language of astronomy, they also used the language of the cosmos, reflected in their construction proportions. This could transcend linguistic and national cultural barriers and could exist for thousands of years if future generations continue to examine, measure, or study it. Much like the Avebury stone circles that mirror the Earth in England, the pyramids transmit the message of the ancients. We were here! A highly advanced civilization once existed by the Nile River 12,500 years ago. It was a glorious era when the gods came to Earth and enlightened civilization, according to the beliefs of the ancient Egyptians, with the 3 great pyramids serving as monumental records of that legacy. Is our current civilization as advanced as the one of the ancients? The answer is probably no, because the more we develop and explore, the greater the gap seems to grow. To this day, we have not fully decoded or understood how the ancients built the Great Pyramid. However, placing the pyramid in its correct time on the map will help us adjust the course of history and civilizations. This could serve as another ancient monument that challenges the timeline proposed by the theory of evolution. Moreover, there is a deeper meaning that we can reflect upon. As humans, we have 3 big questions in life. Where do I come from? Who am I? And where am I going? The ancient Egyptians believed that human life on Earth is brief, but the future is eternal. They placed great importance on the human body and believed that as long as the physical body was preserved perfectly, the soul would have a resting place. After death, the soul would experience a new life. The Egyptians believed that death is the beginning of true life. After the soul departed from the earthly realm, it would rest in the tomb. In the future, their gods will come to Earth and awaken those sleeping souls, taking them all to the eternal heavenly realm. Perhaps today we do not fully understand or have completely uncovered the message left by the ancients through the pyramids. But at least, we know that it will take many more years for humanity to achieve similar accomplishments to the glorious civilization that once thrived along the banks of the Nile. There are still many mysteries about this ancient world wonder waiting for us to explore. We sincerely hope that you will join us in unveiling even more mysteries in the future. That concludes today's video. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you in the next journey to explore more mysteries.